And more now with Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. He is also a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator, thank you so much for being here. What is your reaction to what we just heard from the Vice President saying that the withholding of this aid to Ukraine is to send an explicit message? And we should note you voted in favor of sending that aid to Ukraine previously.
Well, what it looks like is extortion by Trump of Ukraine for Russia. All of the pressure in this so-called negotiation is on the Ukrainian side. And I see the Vice President and the President acting very directly as agents of Putin and Russia in these so-called negotiations. Imagine if Franklin Delano Roosevelt had told Winston Churchill, we're cutting off Lend-Lease, you have to negotiate with Hitler and be prepared to give up some of your territory and put no pressure on Hitler. That's a pretty good analogy for where we are, and that's why I think people are so concerned.
Those are some strong words to say that this president and his officials are agents of Putin and Russia. Do you believe that at this point the United States is firmly aligned with Russia? Russia came out just yesterday and said it's looking that way.
Russia has said so itself, using exactly those words. So I don't have to use them. Let Russia use them. They did. Mm-hmm.
The administration has said this is all part of the negotiating technique, that this is what it needs to do to get Putin to the table, that what was happening under the Biden administration, using tough words against Putin, wasn't working. This is a new tactic. Do you think it potentially could be successful to get Putin to the table?
You don't get a thug and a tyrant like Putin to the table by giving him everything that he wants and trying to crush the freedom fighters of Ukraine under Putin's heel. I just don't see how this ends anyplace. And the notion that the Ukrainians are going to stop fighting while there's still Russian occupation of their territory. Could you imagine if Americans were occupied by Russia, if they'd taken over our northeastern states? Do you think we would stop fighting because some foreign president wanted a peace deal? Of course we wouldn't. And the Ukrainians are going to fight on as best they can with whatever weapons they have.
Why should every American care about this right now?
Well, same reason every American should have cared when Germany went into Poland back in the 1930s and 40s. This is the frontier of freedom. The Ukrainians are defending all of us with their lives, and all we have to do is provide munitions to them. And yet we're stabbing them in the back, undercutting them, all for whatever the strange relationship is between Trump and Putin.
Those are some very strong words, Senator Whitehouse. We will have to wait and see how this plays out. I want to ask you, because we're expecting to hear from the president tonight in front of a joint session of Congress. What do you want to hear from the president?
That the Musk is being sent packing, that he will work with Congress to pass a serious appropriations bill, that he will follow court orders and not hide behind a fog bank of calculated contempt. I think there's a lot we need to hear from him to put things back on the rails again. But at the moment, I don't see that happening.
But the bottom line is he's going to be giving this speech because he was elected by the American people to become president. They put him in this position of power. And what he is doing right now, a lot of what he is doing is what he talked about on the campaign trail. And it raises questions about the future of your own party. Your Democratic colleague, Mark Warner, recently told Politico that Democrats failed in this election to connect to Americans on a cultural basis, and that Democrats' brand is really bad. How are you going to course correct before the midterms?
Well, I think, frankly, we have to show that we've got the fight in us to go after the corruption that is going on around here. The Trump narrative machine enabled him to brand everybody else as corrupt, when all the corruption, it seems right now, is emanating from the White House and from the cabinet and from the self-dealing of Elon Musk. So I think we have a very powerful message.
I just want to be more specific on that, saying there's corruption. I need you to tell me exactly what you mean by that, what evidence you're pointing to on that.
Well, an example would be an FAA contract being steered to a Musk company and away from Verizon. That's just one.
All right, Senator Whitehouse, there are certainly concerns about potential conflicts of interest with the billions of dollars Elon Musk's companies have before the government and the fact that he is in these agencies doing work there. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.